This is HFY Girl, here to lead you on our next cosmic voyage, where humanity defies the odds and conquers. Let's embark. Blood splattered onto my visor as the Valkyrian warrior slammed into the floor, his face contorted in an agonizing snarl. I stepped back, chest heaving, gripping my combat knife as tight as my strength allowed. My muscles screamed for rest, but I couldn't stop now. Not when the room still buzzed with energy from the alien device that had nearly killed us all. I was the last one standing. The bodies of the other warriors, Ixtharans, Valkyrians, Thrisk, lay strewn around me, their once proud forms now twisted, broken. Earth's gravity had become a battleground, and they'd lost. One after another, the strongest of the galaxy's species had fallen. They underestimated what 1G could do. A low growl echoed behind me, followed by heavy footsteps. I spun on my heels, blade ready as another Valkyrian approached. His gleaming exoskeleton reflected the dim red light of the room, his eyes glowing with the promise of pain. "You are nothing," he hissed, baring his fangs. "You should have died with the rest of your weak species." I forced a smirk. It's only 1G, right? His face twisted in fury and he charged. I dove to the side, narrowly avoiding the blow that would have crushed my skull. My ribs protested as I hit the ground hard, rolling to my feet just in time to block his second attack. The clash of our blades sent vibrations up my arm, but I didn't let it slow me down. I couldn't afford to. This was the endgame. 5 days earlier, I'd arrived here with my team. Scientists, military advisors, diplomats. We thought it was an exercise, a friendly competition between humanity and the Galactic Alliance, testing the endurance of various species in Earth's weak gravity. The Valkyrians laughed when they heard it would be hosted on Earth, claiming it would be child's play for them. They dominated in every competition so far. That was until the bodies started dropping. The first was subtle. The Thrisk warrior, known for his brute strength and reptilian endurance, collapsed during what should have been a routine run through the dense forest in the simulation room. I watched his knees buckle, his eyes wide with disbelief as his body betrayed him. The others had joked, called it a fluke, but it wasn't long before more of them started faltering. They all had superior physical abilities compared to humans, but something was different here. Something was wrong. At first, we assumed it was exhaustion or dehydration, but then, during a nighttime debrief, we lost contact with one of the Ixtharans. No trace of him was ever found, but the security footage showed him standing near the ancient bunker deep within the complex, staring at something just outside the camera's view. Then the footage cut off. A chill had settled in the pit of my stomach, and the whispers started. I should have listened to my gut then. I should have known that something far worse was lurking beneath the surface. But we pressed on, and I thought I was imagining things. The tremors in the ground, the feeling of being watched, the way the Valkyrians' laughter turned into nervous glances as more of their warriors disappeared without a trace. It wasn't until we found the bunker that everything started to unravel. The Ixtharans had discovered it first, their heightened senses detecting the faint hum of alien technology hidden deep below the training facility. I'd gone with them to investigate, along with Reichstar, the Valkyrian leader. What we found sent ice through my veins. The bunker was ancient, far older than anything we had on Earth. The alien markings were unfamiliar, etched into the metallic walls like a language we weren't meant to understand. In the center of the room sat a machine, pulsing with energy, distorting the space around it. I could feel it pulling at me, twisting the air. But Reichstar had known exactly what it was. He approached it with a confidence that felt wrong, like he had been expecting to find it. "What is this?" I demanded, stepping toward him, my hand instinctively resting on my weapon. "You know more than you're telling us." He turned to face me, and in that moment, I saw the truth in his eyes. "This isn't just a competition," Reichstar said, voice dripping with malice. "This was never about endurance or training. We were sent here for this." I should have known. I should have seen the signs. The Valkarians had orchestrated everything, brought us here to study Earth's gravity, to see how their warriors could adapt. All in preparation for an invasion. They planned to use the technology in this bunker to manipulate our planet's gravity, to make it their own. You bastard, I whispered. Before I could react, he activated the machine. The room buckled. The gravity fluctuated wildly, slamming me to the floor as the weight of the air became unbearable. I gasped for breath, struggling to push myself up as Reichstar laughed. You'll never make it out of here, human. But he was wrong. Humans don't give up. We adapt. We endure. The others weren't so lucky. The warriors of the Galactic Alliance, the mightiest in the galaxy, had no experience fighting under these conditions. They began to fall one by one as gravity warped and twisted, their superior strength becoming their weakness as their muscles strained and snapped under the pressure. The once proud Valkarians crumbled like glass, their exoskeletons cracking as the gravity worked against them. The Ixtharans, unable to maintain their mental link, descended into madness. And me, I'd spent my whole life adapting to extremes. Born on Mars, raised in low gravity, trained to endure the harshest environments, Earth's gravity had always been my home, and now it was my weapon. I moved with purpose, weaving through the carnage as the other warriors struggled to stand. Reichstar watched, his smug confidence beginning to wane as he realized I was still standing. It's only 1G, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. But as I moved closer to the machine, something caught my eye, a faint, shimmering glow beneath its surface. It wasn't just manipulating gravity. It was something more, something far older. I could feel its presence watching me, studying me. And then, like a whisper in the back of my mind, I understood. The machine wasn't of Valkarian origin. It wasn't Ixtharan. It was human. I froze. My pulse raced. The markings, the technology. It all pointed to one impossible conclusion. Earth wasn't just a random planet. This machine had been buried here for centuries, possibly millennia, long before humanity even knew the stars existed. We hadn't been invaded. We were the invaders. Reichstar must have sensed my revelation. He lunged, but I was ready. With gravity shifting around us like a living entity, I used its erratic fluctuations to my advantage. My smaller frame allowed me to dodge his strikes as the weight of the environment crushed down on him. Each attack from Reichstar became slower, more desperate, as I danced around him, letting the gravity do the work. His breath came in ragged gasps, his once mighty strength fading as his body betrayed him. Finally, in one swift movement, I drove my blade into his side, forcing him to the ground. He struggled, eyes wide with disbelief before collapsing, his final breaths echoing in the silent room. I staggered back, my chest heaving, as I stared at the machine. Its glow had intensified, and I could feel its power radiating through the air. But now, I knew what had to be done. I limped toward the controls, my body screaming in protest. Every muscle, every bone ached, but I couldn't stop now. I reached out, my fingers trembling, and deactivated the machine. The pulsing energy faded, and with it, the oppressive weight of gravity returned to normal. The room was silent once more. I dropped to my knees, staring at the bodies of the fallen warriors around me. They'd come here expecting to dominate, to claim Earth as their own. But they hadn't realized that Earth had its own secrets, its own weapons. I laughed, the sound hollow in the stillness. It's only 1G, I muttered again, the irony settling in. They had underestimated humanity's strength, but it wasn't just about endurance or physical might. It was about survival, and humans were damn good at that. As I rose to my feet and made my way toward the exit, I knew this wasn't over. The Galactic Alliance would come for us, for Earth. But now we had something they didn't expect. We had the technology, and this time, we were ready. Thanks for watching HFY Girl. As we disembark, Don't forget to blast that subscribe button for more stories just like this.